When Blue Protocol Star Resonance was released, it reached almost 100,000 concurrent players on Steam on launch day. During the first few days, you could hardly play for more than 90 minutes at a time before running into limits with leveling and story progression. But now, after a few weeks in, you can have a great deal of fun with the title. New gear and the first raid for the game were already released. In China, the release of the second season is also about to take place, which makes this a good moment to talk about the future of the game. Blue Protocol's release and player activity can be viewed in different ways depending on the platform. At its peak last weekend, just over 37,000 players were playing the game simultaneously on Steam. However, since the game can also be accessed through a PC client, the Apple Store, and Android or iOS devices, the total number of users is likely much higher than those figures suggest. Reviews vary widely by platform. On Steam, the game currently has 54% positive reviews. In the Google Play Store, Blue Protocol holds a 4 out of 5 star rating, and in the App Store, it has 4.7 out of 5 stars from around 3,500 submitted reviews. Those numbers are unusually positive for that platform and demonstrate the kind of audience the game appeals to. Blue Protocol is directed more toward a casual and anime-oriented community that also tends to play on mobile devices. Traditional PC MMO fans who enjoy titles such as World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 2 will often encounter elements they may find less appealing. These include the very short leveling process of roughly 8 hours, auto-combat features, and the presence of gacha mechanics. In addition, the anime art style and combat system are not to everyone's taste. Despite those issues, the game's dungeons and its straightforward gear grind have been particularly enjoyable in recent days. The system clearly explains where to obtain better items and upgrade materials, and much of this progression is linked to playing with others through world boss fights, participation in events, or running dungeons. The instance content is also designed quite fairly. The first 2 difficulty levels are relatively easy, and even the first master difficulty can be completed by normal free-to-play players. Those who want to dive deeply into grinding can pursue higher master levels up to level 20, which are not only more difficult but also serve as demanding gear checks. Players who wish can therefore grind extensively, but everything can also be experienced casually. The best equipment, level 60 gear or golden level 40 gear, can already be obtained at the lower difficulties, which provides a well-balanced experience. The Western launch of Blue Protocol was considered successful by many players because there were far fewer server issues than in China. The development team appeared to have prepared better for the influx of players in the West and learned from earlier mistakes made in other regions. The only disappointment remains the lack of dedicated European servers, which means that players have to contend with higher ping times. This does not have a major impact on PvE gameplay, but can still be noticeable in certain situations. In terms of current developments in the Western version, a significant update was released on October 27th. This patch introduced level 60 gear, which offers slightly better equipment than the existing level 40 items. It can be earned through dungeons from the exchange vendor or from the newly introduced raid. The raid features a massive dragon that can be challenged by 10 to 20 players. Participation requires a minimum ability power of 12,710, and players can earn 1 reward per week for defeating the boss. The battle is divided into multiple phases, each featuring different mechanics. Early footage suggests that the fight looks quite entertaining. As for the long-term future of Blue Protocol, the game appears to follow a recurring update cycle. Players have just experienced roughly 3 weeks during which level 40 gear could be farmed and fully upgraded, focusing on obtaining perfect stats and enhancing equipment. The level 60 gear released today will now serve as the new target for several weeks, and then, in approximately 3 to 5 weeks, level 80 gear is expected to arrive. At least that has been the pattern in China. It is anticipated that a new season will be introduced roughly every 3 to 4 months. In China, Blue Protocol was released on July 17th, and its Season 2 is scheduled to launch on October 30th. The second season introduces new dungeons, raids, events, and game modes, as well as adjustments to the overall gear score. The maximum level will remain the same. The patch focuses not only on adding new content, but also on addressing several gameplay issues. Enemies will behave more dynamically and distinctively, incorporating more diverse mechanics. The behavior of elite enemies and world bosses is being reworked so that their attack patterns and reaction speeds adapt to both the number and behavior of players. The combat system will also receive improvements, including better hit detection and a greater sense of impact when using abilities, all aimed at increasing overall enjoyment. Quality of life features such as gear loadouts that can be switched freely and new inventory sorting functions are also planned. Players interested in the housing system will soon be able to visit other players' houses, and there will be an option to allow others to decorate one's home. Additional furniture items have been announced, and the first player versus player mode is coming to the game, though not in the traditional sense. The planned PvP content is a Mahjong-style minigame in which players can compete against one another. There will also be a variety of new skins, battle emblems, and other cosmetic additions typical of the game's seasonal structure. It is not yet known when Season 2 will arrive in the Western version. If the same update cycle used in China applies, the patch should appear around mid-January. Until then, players can expect new instanced content and level 80 gear to keep the grind-oriented gameplay active. For now, there seems to be no shortage of content in terms of progression systems, though the main story and character levels will not advance further until later seasons. The developers have also announced that future updates will bring a new open-world region, additional guild activities and adjustments to guild halls, a pet system allowing players to breed and raise animals, and more instanced content. In an interview, the Chinese head developer explained their overall vision for Blue Protocol. The game should always balance combat, character development, and social content. At present, dungeons and new gear are the central focus, but the goal is for players to motivate one another through community-driven in-game events, such as dance gatherings, social interactions, cosplay events, and in-game chats. Future updates will include further cozy and social features, even though Season 2 primarily expands the housing system. In summary, this is the current overview of Blue Protocol and its general direction. The game's design revolves around a blend of combat, gear grinding, and social interaction, with clearly defined plans for the next season's improvements. The developer's approach shows commitment to maintaining a consistent update rhythm and addressing gameplay issues while expanding content, both for casual players and for those who enjoy long-term progression.